All right, let's talk about something that so many of us learned back in school, something you can literally see just by looking at your own arm. We're going to get to the heart of a myth about the color of your blood. One that's so common, most of us just accept it as fact.
I mean, seriously, go ahead and look at your wrist right now. You see those bluish, maybe kind of greenish lines, right? We all do. And then you remember those diagrams from biology class, the ones that always color-coded the arteries red and the veins blue. It seems like an open and shut case. But is it really? Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right now. The idea that blood without oxygen is blue, it's a complete and total myth. The reality is, human blood is always red. Not sometimes, not under certain conditions, always. So, how is that possible? What's going on here?
So let's dive into the fundamental truth of it all. Your blood is never blue, period. But that doesn't mean its color stays exactly the same. In fact, the specific shade of red tells a really cool story about where it's been on its journey through your body.
Think about it this way. When your blood is fresh from the lungs, loaded up with oxygen, it's a super bright, vibrant cherry red. But after it's done its job and delivered all that oxygen to your muscles and organs, it heads back to the lungs looking like a much deeper, darker maroon red. So yeah, it's a different shade, for sure, but it's still very much red.
So, if it's red all the time, what's the magic ingredient? What is it inside our blood that gives it that signature color in the first place?
Well, meet the hero of our story, a protein called hemoglobin. It's packed into your red blood cells, and its main job is to grab onto oxygen and taxi it all around your body. And the secret to its color? It's iron. Yep, just like the iron that causes a nail to rust, it's the iron in hemoglobin that makes our blood red.
Okay, so we know hemoglobin is the culprit for the red color. But how does just picking up or dropping off an oxygen molecule change its shade so much? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It all comes down to the science of color itself.
You know, it's all about some basic chemistry and a little bit of physics. When hemoglobin is holding onto oxygen, its whole shape changes in a way that reflects bright red light. But once it drops that oxygen off, it changes shape again. And this new shape absorbs more light, which makes it appear as a much darker red. So oxygen isn't really changing the color, it's just turning down the dimmer switch.
And this, of course, brings us right back to the million-dollar question. If our blood is always red, then why on earth do the veins on our arms look so incredibly blue? Well, get ready for this, because the answer isn't about biology at all. It's all about physics. What you're actually seeing isn't the color of your blood. It's a pretty clever optical illusion.
Here's how the trick works. When sunlight, which contains all the colors of the rainbow, hits your skin, your tissue is really good at absorbing the longer, red wavelengths of light. They travel pretty deep, but the shorter, blue wavelengths of light, they can't penetrate as far. So they hit the veins closer to the surface and get scattered and reflected back. So your eye ends up seeing that reflected blue light, and your brain just interprets it as, hey, that vein must be blue.
So when you really boil it down, that blue color has everything to do with the physics of light playing tricks on us, and absolutely nothing to do with the actual biology of our blood.
Okay, so let's lock in the big takeaways here. Number 1, your blood is always red, never blue. Number 2, how much oxygen it's carrying just determines the shade of red, from that bright cherry to a deep maroon. And finally, the blue color of your veins is nothing more than an optical illusion. Pretty cool, right?
You know, when something so basic, something you can literally see with your own eyes, turns out to be a complete illusion, it kind of makes you question everything. What other facts about our own bodies are just sitting there, waiting to be exposed as another clever trick?